stream on YouTube. Okay, so it's working on YouTube, I can see. Keeping an eye out for the CPU load and everything. Well, the problem is that it's also audio recording, because it could also be being caught up. If it's caught on my end, it could be caught in the recording. So it'll matter when we do things like capsules and stuff like that. But it could also just be new PC issue that'll work itself out over time as like updates come in and such. Couple things. I'm not talking right now, no. I'm trying to make sure that everything's working. You're considering buying Star Citizen? This is a bad time to buy Star Citizen, to be quite honest. Yeah, wait a month. The current patch is completely broken, and in mostly because the event that they currently are running is completely broken, and because the event is broken, like a lot of other things will break as well. The one thing that I will say is, generally speaking, Star Citizen. Fuck. Okay. You. I'm back. I should be back. Did Chris Roberts just buy Twitch? Yeah, it's gonna be one of the streams. That's why I'm doing this now. I'm trying to figure out what's going on now to make sure it's working. So hopefully, if unknown Zerker is still here, yeah, the music is so enraging right now. Yes, this is one of this event is one of the reasons why I'm very upset about with CIG right now. Yeah, basically the problem with Star Citizen is there's plenty to do, especially for a new player, but bugs. Star Citizen's in this sort of situation. You get started in a game, you get about halfway done with an event. It's like a mission, or if you're in Tarkov, like you're like in the middle of an extraction. You're like, you've gone out, you're doing a run, you've got a bunch of loot, and then in the middle of that loot, the game, you find out either the game has stolen your loot, so your loot disappears, or you're completely naked. The game just strips you naked for no reason. And then you're able to recover only for something else to go wrong. And when you find you're able to get everything like sorted and everything good to go, you go to extract and you crash and you lost everything. And you just spent 3 hours doing that. And that experience is, I would say like 3 to 4 times out of every 10 with Star Citizen. Video's out of sync. Is the video out of sync? Is the video out of sync? It doesn't look on my side. Sync's on your end? Okay, so try resetting G. Well, we'll see. It sort of works. I'm not seeing any errors. FPS is a little low, but yeah. So the problem, Unknown Zerker, is not that Star Citizen is unplayable. The performance is fine, generally speaking. It's gotten better over the years. There are gameplay loops there, especially for new players. There's a lot for you to explore and get to know. But if you want to like do what you did in Tarkov, you want to go FPS and go do FPS things, there's like 5 things you can do. And those 5 things aren't really repeatable, and there's not a lot of value to them right now. But if you want to do everything that Star Citizen has to offer, that's months worth of content. Right now, it's not a repeatable thing. So that's the problem with Star Citizen right now as a new player, is getting involved in the game is fine, and playing the game is fine. It's just you are rolling the dice if your experience is going to be good or not, and especially if you're going solo. And the problem is trying to get groups together can take an hour. And then once you've gotten that group together, the game exponentially increases the chances that something's gonna fuck up and hurt somebody in your group. Remember I said like that 3 to 5 times out of 10 situation? If you have 10 people, then at least 3 to 5 of them will have that problem, which will ruin the whole experience for everybody. So I love the game, and the game is what it is right now, but it is definitely not ready for people who want to play a video game. The game is still very much in its sort of figuring out how to make it a game that works, because just 6-7 months ago was when they finally added the major piece of technology that would allow them to build the game in the first place, server meshing. But we're still missing social tools. We're missing repeatable loops. We're missing a progression tree. We're missing fundamental parts of what a game should be, because they needed to have all this technology added before they could actually build these loops out. To give you, those of you who are new, an example, with the new event they just released, no combat. Well, there's limited combat you can do. But when they first released it, they had 6 different missions you could do. Over the course of 2 weeks, 90% of those missions stopped working. Like, just it didn't populate anymore. And what was left was 3 missions. And of those missions, 2 of them only worked 50% of the time. Meaning you could do the mission, you could go to a location to pick up cargo, it's cargo hauling. To pick up cargo, you could reach the point and the elevator that would get your cargo is broken. Or it would raise up your cargo, but it would be invisible. Basically eat your cargo. And when you tried to store it back down, it would disappear again. So you just lose that cargo. And then if you got it to work, you would go down to a place and see 7 other people lining up to load up their ships, which is fine. It happens. But then, you're going to spend another 30 minutes waiting for your ship to be loaded up by, maybe other people help you, but to wait your turn. And then you get to your location where you're going to unload, and you unload your ship. And so that whole experience, which should have cost you about an hour, is now an hour and a half. And the amount of cargo you're able to produce towards the event is at best 190 SCU, 190 crates, basically. And to get the rewards for the event, even the rewards that most people want, you're looking at 300 to 1,000 crates. So you'll need to do that at least 3 times to get the initial reward, and like 10 or 12 times to get the big reward. And that's, again, rolling the dice to see if it fucking works. So you're only going, it takes you 2 hours to do it, and that's 50% of the time it actually works. Listen, I've been a backer. I've been following this project since 2014. I've seen rises and I've seen good patches and bad patches. And overall, the game's in a better position than it's ever been. But this is not a good patch. It's basically exposing all of the problems CIG has with their current mission systems, and with one of the biggest problems being the freight elevators, because freight elevators are how you get cargo. So you get anything that's too big for you to put on your person, you have to take it to a freight elevator and store it in your own personal hangar. These can be boxes of like minerals or like commodities that are valuable, things like minerals and ore, or products or drugs or whatever that you can then use to sell and make money. It can also be components that you can use for your ships, so you can improve the quality of your ship to make them better. All of that is used through the system. And the problem with the system is that depending on where you're going, it works most of the time. But in a lot of the places you want it to work, like mission locations, like the closest thing that Star Citizen has to Tarkov is called contested zones. These contested zones, you go into an elevator, you go down into these areas, and these are arenas, which are sort of like linear. Sometimes they have branching off parts, but the idea is you get to the end, and at the end, there's a cache of supplies. There's, drugs and components and weapons and rare items, so it's like good loot. And also these like cards that let you get better loot down the way, so you can, like, if you collect a set of these cards, you can then go unlock like a better ship, which also has better components inside the hangar that ship is in. It's really fun. It's a good experience. But that experience has an elevator at the end, where you have to take your components and put it in the elevator and send it down. And there's one infamous version of this elevator, the one in Obituary Station, which never works. So you can get to a point where you're spending 30 minutes to an hour to get to the end of this whole thing, where you're fighting NPCs and other players to get there. And all of the stuff you fought to get is basically useless because you can't send it down the elevator. And we've known these problems with these freight elevators for a year. Players and CIG have known these freight elevators have been a problem for a year, but they have not really taken a look at them. So this latest event is heavily utilizing the freight elevators. And because it's heavily utilizing the freight elevators, it's exposing all of the problems with the freight elevators. And it's clear now, this is just me venting at this point, I have been saying that CIG needs to take care of freight elevators and ship elevators since like March. And it's clear I'm fucking right. Would you say Star Citizen close to Starfield? Okay, this is where I'm going to be more biased. Starfield is nothing like Star Citizen at all. Star Citizen is closer aligned to Elite than Starfield. But I would say Star Citizen's ambitions are a lot higher than Elite's. Like, the problem with comparing this to Starfield is Starfield, when you land on a planet, it just procedurally generates a random like map that you then can go through, and it's never the same no matter where you go. You can go back to the same place and regenerate it to something different. Star Citizen is not like that at all. Like, when CIG says no loading screens, there's no fucking loading screens. The best they have for loading screens is hidden loading screens, which you don't know are loading screens because they're for traveling between places, and you know there's just not a lot of things to do exterior to your ship. So this is what I'm going to tell you, Zerker. I would not give Star Citizen your money right now. However, they do frequently do what's called free flights. This next free flight is probably going to be in August, if not September, definitely in October. And these free flights are where you, as long as you have an account, you can play the game for free for like a week. Whenever somebody's on the fence about Star Citizen, I say, wait for a free flight, play the free flight, and if you're okay with that experience, you're going to be fine. Because almost always the free flight experience is a lot worse than the average experience because everyone bombards the game and it breaks more often.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space game.
Rubensaurus just resubscribed for 31 months.
Thank you so much, Ruben, for that 31 months of support. You're a very important papa, very impressive, very pedestrian. This is your fault. You're trying to drink a night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. We'd like to have fun here. Zerker. Welcome to the pub. I'm in my space suit. Oh, here we go. Another one.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
God,
you can never,
the audio glitching is so bad.
Take away my space game.
Dry Khan just resubscribed for 45 months.
Thank you so much, for Drycon, for that 45 months of support. You're very important, papa, very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. This is your fault. There's one drink a night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. But yeah. I mean, the point of this is not to really talk about the problems with Star Citizen right now. We're going to be doing I have a podcast called The Captain's Table. That's what this is going to be. We're going to be starting that here in about an hour or so, if everything works. But the point is to talk about what it's like to be a new player in Star Citizen. What are the advantages and disadvantages? What are things that CSG needs to do to improve the experience of the new players? Yeah, see, I figured out why it wasn't being broadcast in 720 or why it was being broadcast in 720, not 1080. And it's because it was downscaling dynamically. And I was like, why? Don't do that. Just do 1080. It wasn't causing the issues, chat. I did that after the issue started up. So, yeah, we're going to have Apollo and Sin will be here. Sin was in the chat earlier. I think I got them in Discord. I'm going to pull Discord now. Hopefully, the audio will work for Discord. Because I may have to risk not recording and then just pull the everything down. Pull it down from like the recordings. That's why I wanted to get it 1920. So there's Sin. Yeah. So the setup will start in about 25 minutes. So this is sort of like for those of you who are new to this, I do this as a way of because I can extend the stream time a little bit more, but also because technical issues are abound no matter what. Sure, let me hop into. I'm gonna hop into the Discord to see if
Drinks all around.
Let's party like it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday. Come on and put your lips together. Blow the candle out. Party like it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday.
Don't worry about it, Dracon. I'm gonna be going to. I have a group that I can hang out with real quick.
Apollonotsi just got a sub from Northern Tech Hermit. Northern Tech Hermit gifted a tier 2 sub to Apollonaut SC.
Thank you for gifting that
They
tier
have
2
given
sub. 26
gift subs in the channel.
You mad lad. Very important puppers. Very impressive. This is very neat pedestrians. Y'all rock. Let me check. All right, y'all. I'm sorry to pop in here. Hopefully nothing too crazy. But I need to have y'all talk to see if it's breaking up in the recording or in the stream.
Sure.
Cool.
We're happy to
I can
talk.
do that.
Chatter.
I would actually try and talk about
So,
something.
What are you up
that
to
was
right
your
now?
first mistake.
Left
Yep.
testicle, right testicle, testes.
Testes.
Oh,
What are y'all up to? Are you all doing mining? Are you doing
We are
We're doing the
currently
event stuff.
privateering. I think is the best.
Okay.
The best bit.
Yes.
it's not a private lore group unless you're doing some illegal actions.
It
hey,
started
if they
with
leave their Polaris open, I'm just gonna take it. I'm sorry.
I know, right? Well, you literally were doing
We
a
are
mission and found
coming
You found
an
an
open
Polaris.
Idris too.
Oh, an
This is
Idris.
the second one in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oof.
We are liberating both ships and cargo
Nice.
judiciously.
Hey, all right. So I'm gonna stop the recording here in a moment to make sure everything's working, but it sounds good on my end. And I'll ask chat. Chat, did they sound okay?
What was it?
I'm streaming. Chat won't
Martian,
lie to me.
Let me in.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. 1 second. I can do that.
It's a bit quiet. That's fine. I can change that. It's more of I'm making sure they're not stuttering or stacking like I can hear. So.
Cool.
Okay. All
I
right.
gotta talk about my stutter like that.
Yeah, right? Rude.
I'll see y'all tomorrow.
See you, dude.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Sounds depraved. Yeah, don't watch out. Collective Shout's gonna cancel me. Fucking hate that shit. Turn up to 8. Let's go to 80%. So it's just the music for whatever reason. It's a weird thing. I'm gonna stop the.
Drinks all around.
Oh, hold up.
Let's party like it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday. Come on and put your lips together. Blow the candle out. Party like it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday. I wanna make you feel real special. Put your name in lights. We are gonna party like it's your birthday. Gonna party like it's your birthday. Gonna party like it's your birthday.
Unknown Zerk TV just got a sub from G Sharp. G Sharp gifted a tier 1 sub to Unknown Zerker TTV.
Thank you for gifting
They
a
have
gift
given
sub.
7 gift subs in the channel.
Thank you for giving the gift subs to Unknown Zerker there. You're very important, Pupper. Very impressive. Mr. Any pedestrian, you rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, there's currently going on is Collective Shout, which is a bunch of Karens in Australia who are going after adult games on Steam, and they basically said we want these specific games to be pulled off of Steam. So they went to MasterCard and Visa and PayPal and said, we're going to expose you for providing child abuse and pornography unless you get them to stop selling these games. So Steam immediately was like, sure, we'll pull them down, calm down. And then they said, yeah, now I want you to do Detroit Become Human and like a bunch of other games which have nothing to do with pornography because they promote violence against children. And Steam was like, what? And MasterCard and Visa were like, yes, we're going to do that. And basically, they're still doing it. And they went to itch.io, and basically Itch panicked and said they're not doing any more porn games and no more NSFW games. Remember, it's not just porn games they're talking about. It's any game they feel like is inappropriate. That's all it cares. They don't give a shit about what it is or not. It's censorship. And it's not just Collective Shout. It's Collective Shout and a bunch of fundies here in the US who are backing them to do this. These online games aren't rated, though, for the ESRB, necessarily. Yeah, they wanted to pull GTA, Cyberpunk 2077. They wanted to ban GTA 5. So it's also important to remember this is the same group that defended the child pageant movie or documentary that was like a glorification. It was like Little Ones or whatever. It was a really disturbing documentary on Netflix. They defended that one. These people are fucked up in the head. Thank you, Australia. They go after Japanese artists, they go after furry artists, they go after basically anyone they feel like is inappropriate. Yes, that one, Shadow Stalker. I think that was the one. There is ways to defend against it, but it's going to require you to be as underhanded and also as vocal. If you want to defend video games and preventing like people from being blacklisted, you know, and from video game censorship, you're going to need to actually take action and demand these payment processors back down. Honestly, and I don't like bringing politics into the stream because I know a lot of people are iffy about politics, and I know a lot of people can have different politics here. So I try to keep this more of a like, hey, we're going to focus on one thing. If I was going to do politics, I'd do a politics thing. This is focusing on video games, but this is a big deal. This is a big deal, in my opinion, when it comes to video games, because it's like all of us are going to have our hobby scrutinized by people who don't give a fuck about it and are just doing this for political points. So we have to get political. And in order to get political, we're going to have to start getting underhanded, doing the same kind of sort of things that these people do back at them. Figure out where they're getting their money and target those those financial backers with boycotts, with other actions which are illegal or legally gray, I should say. I'm not promoting illegal actions, YouTube and Twitch. And do the same tactics against them. Well, I mean, I don't make it a secret. I'm a pansexual man, and being somebody of the not strictly straight variety, it means that my existence is illegal in a lot of parts of the world. And when you go after LGBTQ groups and games and other games just because you can, because they're minority groups and you want to attack them, yeah, I'm gonna go after you too. Don't play games you can't win. And that's the thing. And let me put this in the Star Citizen context. They could easily ban Star Citizen. They could easily go after Star Citizen for multiple, like, of its themes, because it's violence, because all that kind of thing. Yeah. There's nothing. What's the difference between Call of Duty and Star Citizen in terms of its themes? That'd be great, Mickey Moose. The problem is that Ireland has also got Visa and MasterCard. And Visa and unless you have a way of paying for video games other than Visa or MasterCard, not even PayPal, then you can't even buy the game. This is the problem about video game censorship, is that when you start censoring games that you don't like because of whatever egregious reason, it's the reason why we put up with games like Hatred and Postal. The Postal is more of a satire. We put up with the bad shit because we all know, or we should know, that if you start banning games because they're controversial, then any game that is controversial can suddenly get banned. So now you have to start walking on eggshells if you want to make any video games. I say as long as it is legal, it should be allowed. Generally speaking, that's my point of view. There's plenty of things that I would personally not purchase and would definitely not participate in, but I'm not going to prevent people from making art for the sake of art if they don't make, if they don't, I don't agree with it. So, what I'm trying to say is, y'all need to get politically aware about this sort of thing because it's going to start affecting your ability to purchase and enjoy video games. Because whatever game you want, it doesn't matter, whatever idea you have, if it's a niche idea, it could be considered immoral by some groups. Exactly, Sin. Yeah, like it or not, politics fix everything. Yep. That's good for you, Marcus Hazen. I don't have that here. And unfortunately, most of the world doesn't. So, I would urge you to write a letter to Visa and MasterCard, to look up other groups that are trying to stop itch.io. I'd also not participate in itch.io. I would definitely not. I'm sure not many people here actually use itch.io, but I would definitely boycott itch.io for their actions, and I would definitely make sure to get Steam to make sure that Steam is doing this as well. Yes, Itch is also doing this. Itch has basically said, if you make anything NSFW, doesn't matter what type of NSFW it is, anything that is NSFW, they have to review it, and if it's if they don't like it, they're gonna ban you forever. And if you have an NSFW, anything that's not fully safe for work, you can be banned. Yeah. Listen, we proved with things like Stop Killing Games that if you mobilize, the gaming community fast enough, we can come together and like protect and do the right thing. In this case, this is not just a small problem. This is an existential threat to our entire community. Because if they can go after any game they find offensive, they can go after your game. Because somebody's going to find it offensive. They already have Escape. This is the same group that's done this. Kind of support indie devs, other ones there. If you want to support indie devs, I would just suggest looking at their Patreons and some of their other sources. I don't know if there's a alternative to itch.io really but yeah. Okay, this is another one. Also, best part, check your 401k or other retirement investment funds to see if Visa, MasterCard, or PayPal are listed in the funds, because that makes you a shareholder. Look up the payments provider, investor relations hotline, and call them with a polite inquiry about what's going on with the lost revenue streams and the effects your return on investment. That's a good way of putting it too, especially if you have some sort of investment in any of those groups. Using the investor hotline to begin to inquire why they're fucking with your investment and why you're losing revenue over a group that has actively supported pedophilia, be a good one. That's good. That is, Jada, that is exactly the sort of underhanded thinking you need to go into with these sorts of things, because these are people who are playing not by the rules. They're playing by their own guidebook, their own book. So you have to fight fire with fire. You have to start slinging some mud. So finding ways to hit their bottom line and to make them afraid of you more than the other group is how you do it. Sorry, Wortbarg. We're talking about the controversy with what's going on with Steam and and itch.io, where they're banning any NSFW games, including trying to ban games like GTA, Cyberpunk, and Detroit Become Human because of their abuse of children themes. By going after payment processors, saying that you're supporting these things and you need to stop. And so basically MasterCard and Visa are saying, unless you pull these things from your list, we're going to prevent you from using our services. Suggest that you speak with your fund administrator about dropping them. And someone said, go full Hurston on them. Yes. Yes. that is a appropriate response. Nothing Hurston does is illegal, technically. It's not that we can't have anything in this world, it's that we have to fight for everything we want. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't like you for who you are, no matter who you are. And will actively try to hurt you for the sake of who you are. I know, Sin. It's fucking exhausting. Hey, David, glad to hear you. All right, we're going to get started here in about 10 minutes or so. Thank you, Red Erico. I like you too. The religious group claimed responsibility for this about harassing them with a thousand plus calls. They're bullying Visa into bullying others. We are several orders of magnitude larger than a mere 1,000. Yeah, no. We just need to get organized. We need to get focused and focus on A, defense, B, response. Because I can almost guarantee you these groups, especially if they're religious fundamentalists, take donations as part of their way of staying up. So returning the favor to what they want to do is a good tactic. Doing the same thing that they were doing, but to them, is a great way of also cutting off their money supply, which would choke them. Also, to all the normals and source in chat, welcome to the Fight Artery in Progress. That can work too, but they're in Australia, so I don't know the laws around Australia, but especially if you're in Australia, please engage your local MPs and your own local politicians to inquire about this group that has suspicious activity around young children, especially with their own promotions and other issues around that. Maybe the Stop Killing Games guys can help with this too, possibly, but this is just one of the stuff. Yeah, and see if they can find out who does support them. Yeah. I don't know if they're tax exempt. I don't know what it is, but yeah. Activate the drop executes. Yeah, there is a bill that's going around that's trying to prevent banks from arbitrarily stopping payment based off of political issues. It's a little controversial in America because it's not just about these sorts of things. It's also about like gun control and other issues like that. But, you know, it would make a horrible partner for pansexual and give them sexy pics using kitchenware to cover up. Listen, depends on the kitchenware and depends on the poses. Okay, Escape? Senate Bill 401. Yeah. I mean, getting involved in politics over stuff like this is always good because people often. All right, this is where I revert back to the fact that I'm a history teacher, but I also teach government and economics. And so being active in politics is never a bad thing, especially local politics. Like, being involved in your local politics is probably the most important thing you can do in your life because those are the people who have the most control over everything you do. So like county mayor, city mayor, county council, city councils, sheriff. If you're in other parts of the country, other parts of the world, things like members of parliament, local in the U.S., local congressmen, senators, that kind of thing. Yeah, and a lot of these issues, these local politics, these sorts of people run these sorts of local politics so they can have more power to do these sorts of things. So if you say you're the mayor of such and such city and you're making this complaint, that becomes a lot more big to somebody in Visa or MasterCard than if it was just random woman who happens to run an organization, you know? Yep. Yeah, you can. This is going to sound awful, but local politicians. I usually say this with my kids. Local politics is important because local politicians know that you know where they live, and you're within driving distance of their home. And those people are a lot more interested in listening to you if you have a large group of people who are mad. As I say this, Jade is like, be right back. Forming an angry mob to go to my local city councilman. Just read itch.io statement. They're gonna ban buying from other sites too, or just video games, or just video games. Sounds like hypocritical to me. Yup. Itch is panicking and they're doing the wrong thing. Now remember, Itch is also the same company that owns Drive-Thru RPG, and they've had problems like this in the past. So the company itself is kind of fucked. Yeah, that's going to be out here in a few minutes. So. So yeah, sorry to kind of hit that in there with this, but I figure like I need to make a statement on it anyways because I haven't had a chance to talk about it. It's awful, and you should. I would encourage you to at least write a letter or call the MasterCard or Visa, especially if you have a MasterCard or Visa card, and if you have a 401k or otherwise invested somehow in MasterCard or Visa, make sure to talk with their investing group and inquire on why they are why they are failing their fiduciary responsibility for their investors to ensure that they're getting as much money as possible. Especially for an organization that has no roots in the United States. Yeah, I know, Sin. It sucks. It sucks when you find these things out. That's awful, Escape. Remember, kids, your local city council does not have Secret Service. They're all little pieces on the chessboard that is controlled by the few, Paul. But in this case, reaching them can make an impact. On a larger scale and for something more important, no. For now, but I wouldn't be a government teacher if I didn't think the small groups of very angry voices couldn't make a difference in the broad scheme of things. History has proven that time and time again. Star Citizen is a great example of this. Star Citizen is relatively small in comparison to the rest of the communities at large in gaming. I know it seems like we're big because we have like over a million people have pledged for Star Citizen, but the actual active community is probably more like at most 100,000 people, which is big, but for a game of this scale and this stuff, it's pretty small. But the fact that we are part of this community and we have helped shape the game has also improved and also influenced other video games to be released. There would be no Starfield. There probably wouldn't be as much Elite Dangerous. And there would be no No Man's Sky without Star Citizen. Star Citizen started moving the ball in terms of science fiction being a game, especially PC games, being greenlit by investors because they could use it as an example of a successful funding, raising funds, proving that there is interest in terms of this game. So even our small community has had a huge impact on gaming. Hey everyone, I know we're memeing, but please remember, do not say or type anything in open internet that you wouldn't want to prosecute or reading back to you in court. Exactly. You can and will. There is no such thing as in Minecraft in a court of law. That does not work. Oh gosh, what is this? Is this a Space Tomato thing? Okay.
Or the Astro Pub.
Okay, I gotta watch this. And then I'm gonna go use the restroom, and we're gonna get set up for the stream, for the captain's table. That's not what I wanted. Watch.
Look up the Astro Historian or the Astro Pub and just find any time that he's live and go into his chat and let him know, hey, I heard the Redeemer's your favorite ship. Do you suggest getting it in the game right now? And he should. I think he loves to talk about it, so I think he'll have some good stuff to say. I personally, I don't have any specific feelings about it. But yeah, I think the Paladin might actually be better than the Redeemer for the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Keenan? Mr. Tomato? What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Fucking fuck. God damn it. I'm not getting into this. I'm gonna go take a break and I'll be back. I love you. I love you, Space Tomato. God damn it. I've said before, CIG, I can fix her. All right? She's ugly. She's a trash can on fire. But you give me enough time, I will fix her and all the problems will go away. All right, we'll be right back, chat. Just ends up deleting the Redeemer files. Hey, listen, that can be a solution. Thank you for paying attention there, New Soul and Bloodguard and such. It's intentionally muted for right now. I'm just doing a video check and all that kind of stuff. All right, chat. We got about 5 minutes left and we'll get started. Make sure I'll turn on the second I start the stream on YouTube for the Captain's Table. I will turn on the bot and see if it works. So it should work by then.